You already know what time it is, man. Of course, it is your boy Squid. That is that blinking green light. That means it is time to go. Hoops and Hash, season 2, episode 7 has officially started. Let's get it. That's so funny that it would overheat. Ha ha. Cops of the rosé. Bitches on my old phone. Nigga just wasted a dab. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled programming. So, the Phoenix Suns, man, the hospital Suns have been going through it. Season 2, episode 7 of Hoops and Hash, man. Let's talk about some Suns stats, the injuries that they've had to endure. Of course, every episode I try to incorporate a single Sun standout. And then, of course, we're going to go over the Suns overlook. So, if you got 15, 20 minutes, kick your feet up. I hope you get a chance to, whether you're at work or whether you got off work and you got home to chill. If you got 15, 20 minutes, man, kick your feet up, get something in the air, or get your dab device and just, hope that it doesn't overheat. But it's Hoops and Hash. You know what we're here for. Let's get it. What a job this is. The dab device overheating can't stop me from greatness. Man, of course, you already know how I usually do these episodes. Unless you're new to it, we always try to start off every episode of Hoops and Hash by talking about some Phoenix Suns stats. So, Phoenix Suns in the last 10 games, man, in the last 10 games, they have gone 4-6. Of course, there are some circumstances, there's some reasoning. Haters would call it excuses, but some fair reasoning as to why that may be the case with the Phoenix Suns being 4-6 in the last 10 games. Currently the seventh seed. I feel like every single episode of this season so far, it's been Phoenix Suns, such and such record. They're seventh seed in the Western Conference. They're such and such record, but they're still the seventh seed in the Western Conference. They're 2 games back. They're a half game back. Is bullshit. Things just happen to the Suns in such ways that are just wildly unfortunate. You can't really explain it, but uh being a Phoenix, Arizona native, man, born and raised here, you learn to not really be surprised by it anymore because that's just what it is. Being an Arizona sports fan across all of the professional sports. So 4-6 record in the last 10 games. They are the seventh seed in the Western Conference right now. 34-26. So 8 games over 500. But in the Wild West, man, that is unfortunately not good enough to get to that home court advantage that I was hoping that we would get to earlier in the season. But us even getting to the playoffs and our loftier goals, we'll get to that later. In the 4 games since Book went down with the injury, so since the Spurs game, not including that game, the Phoenix Suns have averaged 96 points per game. That is bad, real bad. 96 points per game, that is bad enough for 25th in the league. Their offensive rating, also 25th in the league in the last 4 games. So it just goes back to Devin Booker not really getting enough credit for the offensive engine that he is. I think if any non-Suns fan or any non-Devin Booker fan has watched any of the last 4 games, sure, the Suns have gone 2-2 in that time. They have really grinded out a couple of wins, especially ones that were needed, one of them being against the Lakers, and definitely will help decide the tiebreaker. We still got to face them later this year, but even though the Suns have grinded out 2 hard wins in those 4 games without Devin Booker, it has been nasty basketball. It has been nasty basketball. There's no other like polite way to explain it. Just been bad. Suns been averaging 24 points per game in the fourth quarter. That's good enough for 24th in the league. And they've been shooting 43% in the fourth quarter. That's good enough for 21st in the leagues. This is just since Book has been injured. So in the 4 games that Book has been gone. So of course it's a very small sample size, but it also goes back to just respecting Devin Booker as a star and being able to understand that he's not going to average 30 points per game in the season, but that just speaks to the playmaker that he is and what he contributes to the offense as a whole outside of just being a scorer. But it is, again, just going back to his impact. I task anybody who hears this to watch any of the last 4 games that Booker has been out, and you will see that the Suns have been stinking it up. I think in the one of the games, the Suns only scored 77 points. So 77 points in 48 minutes. I think it was the lowest scoring Phoenix Suns game in 8 years or some wild shit like that. So, put some respect on Devin Booker's name and his impact on the Suns team. Um, but also, again, going back to Sun stats. So Grayson Allen, unfortunately, he's been in and out of the lineup with injuries, all different kinds. So whether it was a knee or an ankle, calf injury, all these different random things throughout the season. He's been in and out of the lineup, but he has scored 21 points or more in 5 of the last 6 games that he's played. Um, we're hoping that he can string together more more consecutive games, just so we can see that on a more consistent basis. You can't do anything about injury, so that's not to put any blame on him, but it's just more so giving him credit for what he's been able to provide for the Phoenix Suns in Devin Booker's absence, and then of course now in Dylan Brooks' absence with the fractured hand. So this season, Grayson Allen is averaging 17 points per game. It's a career high. And if you've watched any of the games this season, he has taken a massive leap in his playmaking ability as well as his shot creation. So I love that little, that side gather. He takes it 2 steps. He creates a ton of space when he does it. But also him as a driver, he's been incredibly effective as a driver and putting rim pressure on these defenses, whether it's going to the rim and having, legit shot creation in the up and unders and, absorbing contact and earning and one opportunities, or, as you saw with the game winner from Royce O'Neal, you know, Luca being a cone, he just drove right by Luca. He was able to penetrate and kick out to Colin Gillespie, who swung it to Royce O'Neal for the game winner. So it's just Grayson Allen outside of what you're seeing in the box score. And then, understanding that, yeah, he's missed a grip of games this season. It's also just giving credit to what he has been able to provide in the games that he's played. And I think that's also why, as Suns fans, we're like, we're hoping that he can stay healthy, because he's clearly shown that, when our stars have gotten hurt, he's been able to step up and provide a ton on offense, and just a very smart player. He's a solid leader. Again, this season he's matured a ton, and he's been able to provide a lot. So we're just hoping that he can continue to stay healthy as well. But also, speaking of injuries, goodness gracious. I talked about the hospital Suns, man, the infirmary Suns, man. They have been in hell all season. So check this out. In between Jalen Green, Grayson Allen, Devin Booker, and Dylan Brooks, they have missed a combined 96 games this season. They have missed a combined 96 games this season. Jalen Green has missed 48 games. Grayson Allen has missed 22 games. Book has missed 16 games. And Dylan Brooks, of course, has missed 10 games and beyond, of course, until further notice, because he has that fractured left hand. So the Suns, and this is not to create excuses. I think that the Suns have already overachieved with what they've done through this point in the season. But the injury bug has slapped the dog shit out of the Suns. And again, just speaking to Jordan Ott and what he's been able to provide in the confidence department as well as the preparation department, credit to Jordan Ott just maintaining the Suns team and keeping the spirits high and keeping their focus and their goals all collective in that regard. So crediting Jordan Ott, because the injury bug has slapped the fuck out of the Suns this season. And that's not even considering Jordan the good ones. And the calf injury, that looked absolutely like I fell to my knees. I thought Buddy was cooked. I thought Buddy was cooked for the sheer fact that it was a non-contact injury. But then he hopped right up and he hobbled to the locker room. So I was like, okay, if it was an Achilles injury, he would not be putting that pressure on the Achilles. He would not be able to do that. So it was nice to see that he was able to put that pressure, but there wasn't really a timetable. It was just listed as a calf injury, and we're waiting and seeing. But those are so scary, especially in this day and age where niggas are rupturing their Achilles left and right. I fully understand him being sat out for an extended period of time. Maybe sit him until the playoffs as well, because you do not want to rush back from a calf injury, because that's the difference between waiting 4 to 6 weeks to make sure you're good, and rupturing your Achilles, and now you're out for a year. And don't give me the Jason Tatum bullshit, because that man coming back in like 3 days, I'm not buying it. I really don't want him to rush back and come back early either, because it's just, man, I know science has evolved and medicine has evolved, but that shit's scary, bro. That shit's still terrifying to me. I can't imagine. But all that to say, Jordan Goodwin, he will absolutely be missed in his absence. He actually leads the Phoenix Suns in steals per game at 1.5, just barely edging out, I believe, Royce O'Neal. And then also his 4.7 rebounds per game. That's good enough for third on the team. So just a massive effort guy, creates several extra possessions a game. And that's not to leave out the fact that when left alone, he can make that three ball. So he contributes a lot to the Suns team, even in the 20 to 22 minutes a game that he plays. But yeah, his energy, his ability to lock in on defense, and what he provides on offense, man, he'll also definitely be missed in the meantime. Hopefully, by the time playoffs come around, we'll have a better update. And whenever that may be, man, don't rush back. We need you back, but don't rush back, man. Just don't do it. And so, with the hospital Suns, it has absolutely been a next man up mentality. So, in this moment, I want to bring up a Suns standout. And so, most recently, shout out Rasheer Fleming, man. I'm really happy that Jordan Ott has given him a little, I hate to say a leash, but just given him the play time and allowed him to earn it. I know a lot of Suns fans, especially like myself, just, really itching to see him play earlier in the season, just because, again, we just talk about the 7'5" wingspan. That in itself is just insane. That kind of length on somebody who's already 6'8", 6'9", just got to get him some big boy reps. And so now in the last, 5 or 6 games, let me double check. Luckily, he has seemingly jumped Livers in the rotation. And, that's not to shade Isaiah Livers, but I think that when we have these young prospects that have shown real good spurts, I think it's good to test the young guys, especially as we're getting closer to the playoffs. And so Rasheer Fleming in the last 5 games, he's gone 7 of 17 from 3. So he's shooting 41%. That's a great clip from 3. If he can maintain that, especially with what he provides on defense, that's going to be incredible. That and the fact that he's gotten an uptick in his minutes. So he's played 20 minutes or more in 5 of the last 6 games. Sorry, in 4 of the last 5 games. So Rasheer Fleming, man, I think he's really shown that he's built for it, that he can play in these spot minutes. I understand taking it slow with the rookie, especially with Malawash being, back and forth with the G League team. So I understand the nice and easy approach, but I'm glad to see that, at least since the All-Star break, we've been seeing more of Rasheer Fleming, because I think that he can provide a lot, especially with the defensive tendencies he's already shown. Just the length is crazy because you would not think that it's 7'5". I think it's oddly deceiving. And I think that's what makes him all the more disruptive. What he lacks in weight, in strength, he's able to make up for if you get by him with that 7'5" wingspan. Shooting real well. It's obviously not incredible volume from Rasheer Fleming shooting from the 3, but I am really intrigued and interested in seeing what that turns into over time. So again, 4 of the last 5 games, he's gotten 20 or more minutes, and I hope that trend continues. Also, Malawash he was assigned to the G League team, obviously not for the season, but he was assigned to the G League team on February 27th. And if you've noticed, the trend is that they'll send Rasheer with Malawash up to the G League team. But this time they only sent Malawash. So maybe his timeline is moving a little bit slower than they would have liked, but I like the fact that they're taking the time, they're allowing him these reps, especially if we're not going to be playing him big minutes or even minimal minutes throughout the season. So shout out Rasheer Fleming, man. He has been able to step up in the time that he's been given. And of course, it's not showing a ton in the box score, but if you're watching the games, he's bringing tremendous impact in the short spurts that he gets. Now, finally, looking forward to the rest of the season, right? So the Suns' outlook with 22 games left in the season, like it's actually insane to me that they've already played 60 games. It's absolutely crazy. So, with 22 games left in the season, I envision the Suns going something like 13-9 or 14-8. That would mean that we finished the season just barely under a 50-win season. I think that if you had said that back in July of 2025, nobody would have believed you. I certainly would not have. I would have, again, I would have asked you what you were smoking so that I could get some because that's crazy. But that being said, 22 games left in the season. I predict the Suns going 13-9, maybe at best 14-8. Of course, that's health permitted. That's with Devin Booker back. I think that's even with Brooks missing these games. I think the Suns, especially given the strength of schedule in that time span for the rest of the season, I don't think it's an incredibly tough schedule, but it also means that we have to take care of business against the lower tier teams that we are going to be facing on the road here. So we got a game against the Kings on Tuesday. I know we play the Pelicans at one point. We play the Bulls at one point. I think some of those losses, and I don't think they're going to be major losses. I don't think they're going to be blowouts. Competitive losses to teams like OKC. We play Boston and San Antonio, as well as Minnesota and Milwaukee in that time span. So I don't think those are 50-50 games. I think those are uphill battle games, especially given the injury bug that has plagued the Suns this season, and especially without Dillon Brooks in the picture, at least not until April. So I think we have a really good chance to make up some ground, especially on the Lakers specifically. But again, we'll just really have to take care of business against the bad teams that we are going to be facing throughout the rest of the season. So my expectations, just looking toward the end of the season, my expectations is that the Suns can finish at the 6th seed and narrowly avoid the play-in. By narrowly avoiding the play-in, I'm saying that because we have the tiebreaker over the Lakers, I think we will finish the season with that tiebreaker over the Lakers. That will be the reason why we avoid the play-in. So that's my expectations. I think in the best case scenario, Minnesota and the Lakers will slide, and the Suns will capture the 5th seed due to the tiebreakers over both of those teams. That's the absolute best case scenario. I think before the injuries happened, the best case scenario was that we just barely claimed home court advantage at the 4th seed. Now I think the absolute best case scenario, and that's just requiring a lot of different things to happen. Best case scenario, the Suns snatch that 5th seed down the stretch of the season and somehow manage to capture that over Minnesota and the Lakers, because I don't think Denver, even though Denver's in the 5th seed right now, I don't think they're going to slide too much more. We're going to end this podcast talking about how the Suns, they have some ground to make up, and they're going to have the opportunity to do that with some of these bad teams they're going to be facing over the next couple of weeks. I think health permitting, that means Devin Booker, for the love of everything sacred and holy, I hope you are eating your Wheaties. Please stay healthy. Again, this is not throwing shade. If anything, I'm praying to any basketball god that's willing to listen to me that you stay healthy, my guy. Dillon Brooks, fractured hand. You can only do what you can do with that. So rest up, big fella. We're going to be waiting for you in April. And hopefully by the time you come back, we will have that 5th or 6th seed locked down. It will not take a month for the next episode to come out. That only happened because my wife and I are expecting, and we also moved from the last spot to a new spot. You wouldn't know, but behind me, it looks a little different. That's because we are at a new spot. So it took a month off because we had to pack up the old spot, load up the new spot, and of course, set up the studio. So as always, I appreciate you lending me your ear for, probably going to be about 18, 20 minutes. Appreciate you lending me your ear. Really looking forward to this next stretch of Suns games. Again, it's not going to take another month to hear this next episode, but maybe a week and a half, 7-10 days. Maybe we're going to ramp up a little bit more as the season is starting to really end here. It's coming up on the last stretch, but we'll see. But as always, appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you, Sean Love. And here's the end of season 2, episode 7, Hoops and Hash. Till next time, y'all be safe, y'all be well, be kind, be empathetic, be mindful, be aware, be a good human. Appreciate you.